Like many of you, I've watched a lot of videos on how to play RPGs solo. These videos cover a lot of the tools, rules, and examples of gameplay that help us improve our gaming experience. I feel there's a common thread that runs through these videos, however, it doesn't receive much focus. And in this video, what I'm going to share are my thoughts on what is known as the process. So let's get into this. Welcome to Solitary RPG. In this video, I am going to share my thoughts on how to get started with solo RPGs or how to improve your experience with playing solo. Let's just jump right into my thoughts. So what is the process? Currently, I'm getting ready to play Symbaroum solo. And I also happen to be reading this book from Ryan Holiday called The Obstacle is the Way. This book is part of a small collection of books that I read for my Stoic philosophy studies. I don't read a lot of different books on the subject. I read the same books over and over again. I've read this book probably 4 times now. And the reason I do that is I want the information in these books to become part of my DNA. So like the concepts and the philosophies are just part of what I do daily. Also, my life is always facing different challenges and obstacles, and rereading the books kind of bring some of these tools and techniques to the front of my thinking so that way I don't forget what's in these books. And when I happen to be reading the chapter called Follow the Process, I was able to take the information from this chapter and directly link it to what I was doing with Symbaroum and getting ready to play this game solo. And I just wanted to share those thoughts with you. So I'm just going to read straight from the book so that way you kind of have an understanding of what I'm thinking, and then we can talk about it further. Coach Nick Saban doesn't refer to it very often, but every one of his assistants and players live by it. They say it for him, tattooing it at the front of their minds and on every action they take, because 2 words are responsible for their unprecedented success: the process. Don't think about winning the SEC championship. Don't think about the national championship. Think about what you need to do in this drill, in this play, in this moment. That is the process. Let's think about what we can do today, the task at hand. So that is kind of where the process was born. The book goes on in the next paragraph to just break it down a little bit more. Okay, you've got to do something very difficult. Don't focus on that. Instead, break it down into pieces. Simply do what you need to do right now and do it well. And then move on to the next thing. Follow the process and not the prize. I think that's important to understand, is don't follow some illusion or some concept of where you want your solo experience to go. Just follow the process. Just start playing your game and moving your story forward. We have to understand that playing solo has been around since the beginning of Dungeons and Dragons. Gary Gygax wrote about it very early on because not a lot of people could play Dungeons and Dragons with a group. It was a new game. It was a whole new genre of things for people to do with their free time. And people wanted to enjoy that experience. So they started playing solo. And they've kind of created their own version of playing RPGs solo because of their process. And we have to accept one thing if you're going to play solo, is that your process is going to be different than everybody else's. We don't all do things the same way, and you have to really develop what your process is going to be for playing solo. So let's talk about some different processes that people use. If you watch my channel, you know that I like to write when I play my game solo, because for me, part of my process is writing down as I'm playing to just kind of clear my head, slow my thinking down, and really put myself in the scene, in the moment of the imagination of what's going on. You can look at Moses over at Winona's Cave. He's a gifted artist, an amazing writer. And that is part of his process when he's journaling, he's actually writing. He's even gone as far as taking some of his adventures and taking the information and putting it into a book format. And he'll also sometimes use like video games, just running through scenes in the background and playing music just to help inspire him while he's playing. That's part of his process. Daniel over at the Dungeon Dive, he really likes playing with cards, and art are a big inspiration for a lot of his gaming sessions. So that's part of his process. You look at Trevor over at Me, Myself, and Die. He's a gifted voice actor and has years of experience playing RPGs with groups. And he's able to pull from both of those experiences, those life experiences, into his solo sessions. Deborah over at Geek Gamers loves to use literature. One of the videos that's really popular on her channel is rolling dice and picking a chapter from a novel that you enjoy reading that chapter, and then just moving on with your adventure, using that as an adventure starter. Even she's taken that concept and put it into gaming supplement books that we can use for our games. These are all different processes, and this is just how individuals enjoy playing games solo. We all have different ways of approaching the process of playing solo games, and it's important that you try different techniques and different styles to figure out what works for you. If writing works, great, go with it. If you need that inspiration from maybe video games, movies, art, something like that to get you going, then move in that direction. If it's reading fiction or using some other talents that you have in real life to incorporate into your solo experience, move in that direction. But what's important is that you're trying different techniques to really create your own process and your own experience and just enjoy the hobby. One of the challenges we have as people is we're A to Z thinkers. We're always fretting about getting something started, learning a new skill. We may over research something, spend a lot of time looking and buying tools, especially with solo gaming. So many supplements, so many books, so many things you can buy. It can be overwhelming. And we kind of stress ourselves out even getting started. And what we're thinking about is Z, that prize, the thing at the end, that experience. By watching a lot of videos or trying to relive experiences that we had at the table with other groups or other players, and we're too focused on the end, and what we forget about are steps B through Y. We're focused too much on that Z, that prize, the end piece, and we're too stressed out about getting started, and that can cause people a lot of frustration. So when you sit down to play your solo game, you're creating your own experience. You're creating your own entertainment. This is all about you and you having a good time. So what you want to do is you just want to break the experience, the playing solo, just break it down into some pieces. They can be big pieces, little pieces. You can get as detailed as you want. It's your experience. But for what I'm doing with Symborum, first, I found the rules. I'm going to use the rules that come with the game. So I got my rules that I'm going to use. I'm learning about the world. So in the setting books, I've got all kinds of information about the background of the world, just so I understand the world that I'm living in. I've got some Oracle information that I'm going to be using. There's actually a supplement out from Parts Per Million on playing Symborum solo, so that is what I'm going to use so I can answer my questions, and actually has some good spark charts that are specific to the world, which I think are going to be helpful. I'm going to create a character. I'm going to roll up my dice, create my character. I'm going to put my character in a situation, and then I'm going to start rolling my dice and playing my game. Then what I'm going to do is, after my gaming session, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to evaluate what I did. What worked? What didn't work? What can I improve on? I'm going to just break down the process and then make improvements to it. If I don't like the Oracle I'm using, I'm going to change it. If I don't like the Spark tables I'm using, I'm going to change them. If the situation I put my character in just isn't working for me, I'm just not feeling creative about it, I'm going to create a new situation. This is what is important about playing solo, is that you're reevaluating your process, the steps that you're going through for enjoying your game, and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and making changes to them. Just because you sit down at the beginning and you're like, I'm going to use this stuff to play this game, and if it's not working, if you're walking away and you just don't feel like it was very fulfilling experience, or just fell flat for you, make changes. Figure out new ways, but don't compare yourself to other people's gaming sessions, because this is your gaming session. You're trying to create your own entertainment, and you can't compare yourself to other people's entertainment. We're all going to have a different experience. If we all sat down to play this solo experience using the same tools, we're all going to come up with a different experience, because our processes are going to be different. And that's what you need to focus on, is find out what works for you, improve upon that, and keep improving on that. Eventually, that A through Z thinking, where you're having this awesome experience at the end, but you're stressed out about the beginning, you're forgetting about everything in between. Eventually, as you focus on your process, all those steps in between, as you focus on those, your A stress will go away. The getting started and wanting to try different systems and new things, that will go away. That stress factor will go away, and you'll start just creating those Z experiences, that entertainment, that what you're really enjoying and getting out of the solo experiences. Keep in mind, everyone that's played solo has all sat down at the table when they first started learning how to play solo with a rule book, paper, pencil, some dice, and stared blankly at it going, what do I do now? And it was through creating their own processes, creating their own experiences, and just improving on those experiences by finding new products and trying new things. They have been able to create their solo sessions, what really works for them. And that's something that you need to discover on your own. There is no rule book for playing solo. Lots of great tools, tips, tricks, and ideas out there for you to try, but it's all on you figuring out your process, what works for you. That is what I wanted to share in this video, is something I read in my Stoic philosophy, and linking that to our solo experiences. I hope you found this helpful and informative. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to hit me up in the comments. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.